When we go to Lewis acids and bases, we do not have pH as a characteristic of acidity. And simply saying that you have lone pair of base interacting with empty orbital of Lewis acid is not enough to describe the whole complexity of this process. So Pearson came to look at it. What is the idea? The idea is that some of metal ions, and metal ions are Lewis acids. They can interact with lone pairs. So some metal ions prefer sulfur and some metal ions prefer oxygen. Both sulfur and oxygen are donors of lone pair, but these lone pairs have different structure, different energy, different geometry, and they differently interact with metal ions. There is kind of triangle in periodic table setting at copper, going to the right to osmium, to the left to osmium, and to the right to lead, saying that this area gives us soft interaction. These elements prefer sulfur. They say they love sulfur. Sulfur loving halcophil elements. Geologists love that. They have their own characteristic and they are halcophilic minerals. So when we look at periodic table, we can say that these elements in blue are more or less soft. So they would like to react with sulfur. These would be intermediate, and these elements will be hard, and all other, say, group number 1, group number 2, group number 3 are always hard acids. Now, what about bases? We have very few donors of lone pair. Pearson and Lewis bases are donors of lone pair. So, who are hard? Fluoride and oxide. And nitrogen and chlorine occupies intermediate position. Now sulfur, phosphorus, bromide, iodide, and more exotic like selenium, arsenic, tellure, antimony, carbon are soft. Now again, most importantly soft are phosphorus, sulfur, and these halogens. Most important, oxygen, and to lesser extent fluoride are hard. So for example, we know that aluminum 3 plus is hard acid. So it will make strong interactions with fluoride and oxide. It will not make stable compounds with phosphorus and sulfur and iodide. And turn cold is very soft, so it will make strong compounds with iodide, bromide, sulfur, phosphorus, but not with oxygen or fluoride. some groups can interact by different means with different ions. So, for example, if we have NCS anion, if you have hard acid, it will interact using nitrogen atom. If it meets soft, it will interact using sulfur. So it has two options.